Nigel. Little buddy. Nigel. What are you doing? Nigel. I'm not gonna catch you, buddy.
As you can probably see, we got our first big snowstorm of the year finally. Although it does look rather dismal out right now, it is really not that cold. All of the horses seem to be getting along quite well except Pete, who is always a little bit of a diva when it comes to the snow. Just to make it a little bit easier for me this morning, I am using my truck to bring the boys their breakfast. It looks like everybody's winter coat is doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Hey, Whippy. Hey, bud.
They've all got a little bit of frozen snow and ice on them, except Gus, who has a little bit of a bird bath sitting right on his back.
Peter. Hey, Pete. Oh, Pete.
Stewie has some pretty serious ice balls on him, but he is nice and dry underneath.
That's Stu. Good boy. Good boy, Stu.
I'm not exactly sure how much snow we got last night, but it seems to be around 5 inches or so. It looks like the tank heaters did their job overnight, and the boys ate up all of their little snack bags of grass hay that I put out for them. Since it's not too windy this morning, I am just feeding them off of the ground. I'm not sure how much more it's supposed to be snowing today, but I do think this afternoon it is supposed to be much nicer out. Studman, Goose, and Big Gus look like they're having a pretty good time out in the snow as well.
Hey, Studman. Gussie. Goose.
I am going to feed these boys a little bit on the heavy side this morning just so they'll have something to do all day. I'm trying to use up all of the grass hay that's on my little trailer, so that's what these guys have been getting for the last couple of days. Typically these boys get about 10 pounds each feeding, and today I'm giving them closer to 15. I haven't gotten a final word on when the gator is going to be here, but hopefully sometime this week it'll be in the shop ready for me to pick up. These boys look like they are insulating about as good as the other ones. They don't have quite as much snow on them. I think these boys do spend a lot more time in their shed than the other boys. Nigel also seems happy as a clam to be out in this weather. He was in his little tent when I first came to check on him, but now he's outside eating his mash. The last couple of days, I've still been waiting to see if a few of my favorite Mustangs are gonna get spoken for from the last internet adoption. Unfortunately, the horse I wanted ended up going for way too much money, and I just couldn't justify spending that much on an unstarted horse. The Mustangs aren't even halter broke, so it is a little bit of a roll of the dice how they're going to turn out, especially if you don't see them in real life. With this current weather, though, I am feeling a little bit happy that I don't have to drive down to Idaho in the near future.
Hey, girl.
Honestly, this little girl has been keeping me more
All right.
on my toes lately, so I'm spending a bit more time with her just everyday training. She's been in this run next to her stall for a number of days now, and she still just does not like to go in it unless I put her in there. She is seemingly a lot
Hey,
tougher
little
than
girl.
the other horses. She seems to run a little bit hot as well. All of the snow is melted off of her body, so she's
Girl.
just been standing out here enjoying the cooler weather. Since I'm done checking all of the waters and giving everybody their morning meals, I am going to do a few more things around the barn and then I'm going to head home for the morning. I honestly really don't want to do too much when the weather is like this. The horses need to spend quite a bit of
Hey,
time
Nigel.
eating to stay warm, and I don't really like to be out when I'm getting soaking wet anyway. I will come back over here in a few hours and see how everybody is doing. Thankfully, by the time I headed home, had lunch, and then came back, it was so much nicer out.
Hey, girl.
Even though Scarlet does get to stretch her legs in her little run, I've been trying to get her and Ziggy out every day, even though the weather has not been cooperating. In addition to her spending some more quality time with Ziggy, she also has been getting extra practice getting haltered. Here lately, she's been a little bit of a turd for me to catch every day. She's not too serious about it, but every day she does a little bit of a game of keep away with me for a few minutes. Honestly, I'm starting to lose my sense of humor about it because eventually she just gives up and lets me catch her. Today, however, she was really serious about eluding me for quite some time. And after about 10 minutes of trying to catch her, I decided to just go ahead and get Ziggy first and see how upset she'd get about that. I saw this really cool little snow angel a bird made when it was trying to scoop up a mouse from under the snow. As soon as I turned Ziggy out, it looked like Scarlet was upset she didn't let me catch her the first time. And even when I went out to catch her a second time, she still was not quite interested in me catching her just quite yet. I did, however, bring a few little treats in my pocket just in case. I was not really surprised that Scarlet got a little bit hyped up because Ziggy was out first, but after a few minutes she finally decided to mosey over and let me put her halter on. She has been doing a pretty good job of training me lately to receive a treat when she gets her halter on. At this point, I don't really think she's scared of the process. Sometimes she gets a little bit surprised if I touch her nose, but I think at this point she is using the treats against me. She has also gotten a lot better about coming into her stall. She still does not quite like to do it on her own, but when I ask her, it takes her a few little seconds to calculate the step and then she hops right in. Much better than the first couple of times we worked on this, so bit by bit she is getting better. I was expecting Scarlet to be a little bit wormy when I released her, so today I'm just going to put the lead rope around her neck and hopefully she will stand still until I actually let her go. She is being quite squirmy, and I make it a point to let her know that I do have her caught around her neck so she doesn't pull away from me when I take her halter off. Some days she's really good about this, and then other days she does get a little bit too excited about her turnout time with Ziggy. Unfortunately, today she did pull away from me, so the next time I turn her out, I'm going to have to make extra special care that she does not do that again so she doesn't get into the habit of pulling away from someone when they're turning her out. As usual, Ziggy is unimpressed by her jumping around. He typically does wait for her to burn off all of her extra steam so he doesn't get caught in the crosshairs. Today she is being particularly sassy, and I think it's just because it was so chilly this morning, and right now we've got some blue skies and it's starting to warm up quite a bit. I really do think that Ziggy enjoys having Scarlet around, but he is less enthusiastic about her sassiness early on. He still does take a few minutes to warm up to her and loosen up his old bones because of this chillier weather we're having. After a few minutes, he starts trotting along after Scarlet and they begin to play with each other a little bit. While Ziggy is turned out today, I am going to strip his stall and I'm going to try the pelleted bedding again with him. Hopefully it won't irritate his eyes again. I do think he is allergic or at least irritated by the regular shavings I've been getting, so we're going to give this another go and hopefully it'll work out this time. Since it is such a nice day out, I decided to go ahead and turn the other boys out into the big arena. These boys are much more chill than Scarlet and Ziggy,
Goosey!
but eventually they will start to run around a little bit.
What are you doing?
I was very excited to see Studman did an almost perfect, I think it's 2-meter circle while I turned him out. It seems like all of those balancing exercises have begun to pay off. For it being kind of dismal out this morning, this afternoon sure has turned into a very pretty day. When I got back into the barn, I started to see Ziggy kicking up his heels a little bit. I'm trying not to get too distracted today because the sun will be setting sooner than I would like it to. After I get the barn cleaned out and all of the horses fed their dinner hay, I can catch Scarlet and Ziggy.
Come on, Jake. on, Ziggy.
I need to get these guys in the barn and cooled off before the sun goes down so they don't freeze. It looked like Scarlet wasn't going to give me any trouble about getting caught, but as I stepped in the pen, she decided to play a little game of keep away with me.
I'm gonna stick your nose in it.
I was really starting to lose my patience with her shenanigans because it is getting quite chilly out. Every time she walked up to me and pretended like she was ready to come in, she would loop around and trot about. I think eventually she could tell that I was getting annoyed with her little games. Once I finally got her caught, I could tell that she was still a little bit sassy. I went to go scratch her and she jumped away from me like I was gonna hurt her, so I had to address it and give her a few little pats. It's safe to say that she's not using all of the energy from the new alfalfa she's been getting, but that's okay. She's got some growing to do and she does need the extra protein. It will be good practice for her to learn how to contain her mind even when she is a little bit on the fresh side. When I brought Ziggy and Scarlet inside, they did have a little bit of steam rising off of them. They weren't wet, so they should be okay just to stay in their stalls and eat their hay for the night before I leave. As I look towards the future, I still would really like to get a Mustang from the BLM. Until winter is here, however, I do forget the amount of work it takes just to feed and take care of all of the horses I have, so maybe at this point in time it's not the best idea to get another unhandled horse. I certainly don't need another horse at this point in time, but this time of year there's one bound to pop up eventually, so I'll just keep my eyeballs peeled and eventually one will come along that needs my help. Thank you guys so much for watching and stay tuned for the next video.